Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Give us a second. We're going to do a little tribute to John tonight and pull something up in his memory. This came from John's personal Facebook. Yeah. Now, does that in any way look like the person that they have tried to make him out to be? I don't think so. All right, guys, I got Robert Garza, Escobar, get on in here.
I think we need to scoot the table out.
Hey, Ron, you want to be on camera? All right, I didn't think so. We got one more person. He's over there supporting, though. He's watching. Everybody, it's been a long week. Thank you for joining the live stream. Just wanted to do a little tribute. I feel bad. I know a lot of people hung around for like 4 or 5 hours waiting on that verdict, and it didn't come. It's out of our control, unfortunately. I thought we was going to see an end to it today, but it just didn't work out that way. So as far as we know, I didn't get an official time. I'm pretty sure we're going to start at the same time again in the morning.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yep.
Everybody, you know Robert, you know Mark, but we're just going to go through it again. Both of these guys have been on several trips with me up to this area, working on this story, as well as many other stories. I think the last time you was out here, Mark, I think same with you, Robert, we was out here to do a rally for John.
Yep. Right
beside the courthouse. We showed up. That was one of the bigger rallies that I've been to, for the movement. We had a bunch of speakers out there, a lot of people standing outside with signs, and it was a beautiful thing to see the support that was going on. But we actually, the day before, flew into Boise, Idaho, marched the whole Capitol, talked to every one of the legislators, told them what happened with John, drove 4 hours up to Lewiston, did that rally the next day, and as soon as we got done with the rally, in the same day, drove up to Spokane, got on an airplane, flew from Washington State to Washington, D.C. the next morning, where we did another rally for John against false allegations.
And in between did some documentary stuff with David.
Yeah.
At 1 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So that trip from Boise up to Lewiston, we got here at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And the camera guy, I want to give a shout out to David Walk. He's been amazing. Local guy that's been helping so much. Everybody, do me a favor. You might not know David. He hadn't been on camera. But will you give a big thank you to David? Without guys like that, this stuff wouldn't be happening. He has really held it down. He has helped us get the support in this city. So thankful for you, David. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, we went to his house at 1 o'clock in the morning to shoot stuff for I Stand with John. And it's been crazy, man. But we're finally here, guys. And look, that rally, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Has it been that long?
It seems like it was last year,
yes,
but it was 2 years ago. Yeah. Because we hadn't finished the documentary yet.
No.
Because all that was in the documentary, the rally.
We were waiting to see if the trial and everything was going to
house
happen.
at 1 in the morning and editing.
Yeah.
And then on the plane, you guys were still doing editing as we were flying to D.C.
Yeah.
That was
So
2
this
years
is a
ago.
very special moment, I think, for everybody involved, ready to see justice. I said I wanted to do a tribute to John tonight. I don't know if we have any friends or family that's there in the comments, but I'd like to ask you this. If there's anybody that knows John, so if you've seen the picture of John holding his daughter and son, he was wearing this particular shirt. And I got showed this by the family the other night. They've made this with that shirt, 2 stuffed animals to the kids.
If you zoom in, there's 2 statements to Ashira and the other statement to Zane.
And those are entries from John's journal that he made to his kids. It says, Ashira, I love you to the moon and back, Daddy. Zane, I love you more than words can say, Daddy. So that's really cool, man. But if there is any friends, family that is in the comments, if you knew John, if you would like to say some kind words, we'll definitely read it. And it'd be good to hear some memories. I know we hear a lot about the bad and the situation that happened. If you got any well wishes, prayers, comments that you'd like to say to the Mast family, I'll read those out as well. And if you got any questions about what's gone on so far, maybe you were at work, you didn't get to see the whole trial. It's been a lot of streaming. They're working out the camera. You can ask those as well.
There you go. Yeah.
So, well, let me do this. You guys have been hearing from me a lot. Let's start with you, Mark. Mark, what's been your thoughts on the trial so far?
Judge Monson, I've seen so many bad judges that when you finally see a good judge that's fair, that is not only fair to both sides, but fair to the process. He's not allowing anybody to step out of line. He actually brought both counsel into chambers multiple times to reel them back in when they would get out of line. And just how fair he is with the process. And he doesn't want to violate anyone's due process. The case is probably going to get appealed, but he's making sure that he crosses all his T's and dots all his I's. So it's a breath of fresh air. We've all seen bad judges. So when you see a good judge, you're like, wow, that's how court's supposed to go.
He's the best judge I've ever met.
Yeah.
I gotta say that, dude. I really do mean it.
He was super fair, and very articulate, and took everything
into consideration.
And to that point, I mean, there was a couple of times defense objected, and he sustained it, and for them too. I think he was very, very fair to both sides, listening to what was going on, and was the reason that we were able to do what we're doing right now. So thank you.
Carte blanche, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, what's been some of your thoughts? I mean, what's it been like? So here's something different about the people you see in front of you. Obviously, we talk about parental alienation and everything that goes in family court. Most of us have our experiences. I haven't been through the silver bullet, guys. That's one thing I haven't. Both of the gentlemen you see here have. So what is this like going through this, knowing the different tricks that get played, and seeing them so badly wanting to bring that up against John?
We recognize it right away.
Right.
Because we've been through it. 11 years for me. I forget how many for Robert.
Same, man.
He holds the record. But you just see the same old game played over and over and over again. And a lot of judges fall for it. So like I said, going back to the judge saying, I'm not going to allow this in. That's not what this case is about. This is a criminal case. You trying to defame John and his family's not going to be allowed in here, because the other side was trying to make it about John. It's about Jim and what he did. It's a murder trial. It's not a family court case.
El Festival, I will answer that. Hold on one second, because I definitely want to hear from Robert on that as well.
So this is the extreme of what can happen with one false allegation, one silver bullet. You see what happened in John's case and how it transpired. If you watch the documentary, if you're new to the thing, you can go to YouTube and Google "I Stand with John," or go to YouTube and see "I Stand with John." It's about an hour long. But the silver bullet can put you in a very bad position to where you want to walk away, basically, because of the false allegation. It's so bad that no matter, even if you come back from it, there's still doubt in people's mind, even today. We saw it on some feeds and everything else. But I went through 43 of these, 43 plus false allegations, never once arrested, convicted, or anything. It took 12 years of this stuff to go on. Finally, I'm out of court. I have more time with my kid or both my kids than she even had got award in the original custody. But they didn't give the time back. So anyway, ended up changing the bill in Texas, and because of it. But one of these false allegations against one of you parents, this is why they do it, and because perjury, they need to start doing perjury.
Yes.
It's a state jail felony. If you can get your legislators to or your district attorney's office or your judges to just prosecute that, it will stop all this stuff anyway.
El Festival, And I expect some of this going on because we have been dedicating more time to this case than just about anything we've done. He said, "Who is this guy being on trial?" For those of you that are new, maybe you're a new follower of Dad Talk, you got to understand, guys, the last 6 months, there's about 500,000 new followers on Dad Talk. So a lot of people might not know about the John Mast trial yet. If you don't, if you go to YouTube, there's a documentary called I Stand with John. It's 100% free. We've never charged anybody to watch it. There's no advertisement or anything on it. We made that for this movement to be able to see what this father went through, but to also be able to share with legislators and different people just how bad the family courts get, because this case is important. And because John went through everything. There was CPS, false allegations, even ended up being killed. The guy that you're seeing on trial right now is the one that shot John when he showed up to get his kids after a long custody battle, and he had won his kids back the day he was to get his kids back. Jim Brashear. But if you would like to know more about that, I won't spend too much time on that. That's what the documentary is for, and I hope you guys go and check that out and share it with as many people as you possibly can. I'm going to get back up to the top of these comments. Let me see. God knows, he said, to John's family, I pray for you, and I'm going to spend my energy trying to be still and keep my mind still. Philippians 4:13. Thank you for that, brother. Jim Carlson, thank you for coming, brothers. We're glad you're safely here and safe. Thank you. Danny Lee Pruitt, thank you for covering the trial. John was a great guy. Danny, if you got some memories of him, please tell us. I want to hear it. You know, the memories are what we got. And for those of you that know him, nobody can speak of his character and who he was better than you. So I'd love to hear it and any other comments you got. Thank you for being here, Danny. Gerald DeFresna, I hope I said that right. Said, thank you for what you do, fellas. Jordan Ann Redinger, so thankful for you covering all this. We need more good people like you in the world. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Michael Purser, thank you, David. We're giving another shout out to David Walk This Way Media. Great guy. Thank you for all of your help. Thank you for everybody that's been helping with this. Joshua Moole, keep fighting the fight, gentlemen. Oh, here we go. God knows, he said, thank you, David. Post your business link. We can give you some 5-star reviews. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah. Stuff like that is huge. Absolutely. I Stand with John wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have David. He was up here shooting footage when we couldn't get up here. Yeah, what dude? Several times. At 1 a.m. in the morning to do work. Several times. Yep. And he has stood by John when people tried to bring up the silver bullet. He was spamming I Stand with John in the comments. This ain't true. This ain't true. Yeah. Been a great friend, man. One of the great people that we've met doing this. Mr. James Kelly out of New York, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you, James. James has been an advocate for getting cameras in the courtroom for a long time. Brother, yeah. James Kelly. We did it. For once, we did it. So thank you for tuning in, man. Kim Thomas Durkee, an angel in heaven watching over his children. God bless the Mast family. Thank you, Kim. Jimmy Click, thoughts and prayers. Thanks, Jimmy.
Wow, thanks everybody for sticking in here. Yeah.
The evil in those kids' mom's eyes was unsettling. After he is convicted, I hope they go after mom. Yeah. Question, James Kelly, do you think that the cameras encourage good judicial behavior? Absolutely. 100%. You know, it's so easy to sweep anything related to family law under the rug. Because look, if they do something they're not supposed to do, who's there to hold them accountable? Yeah, we got this on live movement and we talk, but we know most of the time they get away with it. Legislation, if you go and push for it and they don't pass the bills, what's going to happen at the end of the day? Most of the time, nothing. In the family courts, it's a circus. It is a circus. So when those cameras are going, it's not as easy to sweep that under the rug when you got these thousands of people that are watching this. So does it encourage good judicial behavior? I, for one, absolutely think so. What about you guys?
Yep. Oh, sorry, I got it.
I dropped the Sprite.
So they fought it. They didn't want us in there.
No.
And that's why Judge Monson, props to Judge Monson in Idaho. He said they're going to be allowed in.
I'll be honest with you guys. I filed the paperwork. And I had told several people, I was like, it's probably 99.9% chance this is not going to happen. So, I mean, but I did what I was supposed to do. And it happened. They did not want us there. They didn't want me there. But look where we are. And if we can get the opportunity to do more stuff like this, I see much more of this going on in the future. For any of the courts, if you see us file paperwork for something later on, we've been super respectful. I think they would tell you that too. We haven't showed our ass or anything. We're doing these lives. But we are a peaceful movement. We're parents. They want time with our kids and just want to see it cleaned up. At the end of the day, that's it, man.
We'll be back to hold Rebecca next year.
All right. Joshua Stafford didn't get to see the trial, but I feel for the family. I'm praying for his family. This is completely ridiculous. Just please give them our love. Absolutely. Hey, anybody that hasn't gotten to see the trial, this is going to be available forever. It's up there for you to watch. It might even be easier for you right now. Please keep tuning in live. But if you don't get to catch it, you can go through there. You can fast forward through the breaks and everything, and that might get you there a little bit quicker. But today's trial was one that you do want to watch. But I think you need to watch yesterday to understand why today was so important.
There's 4 links, right? There's day 1, day 2, and day 3 has 2 different links.
So, guys, you're my backup. Earlier today, we did a test on the microphone. Everything was good. Sounded perfect. I had these guys talking in the mic, streaming it. The second that the court case started going, nothing was working. I went and talked to the other media over there. They were having problems with it too. It's a very old building. We're doing what we can.
It's just interference.
Yeah, it was just interference, man.
Yep.
But it was cool. Definitely get out there and check that out. So if you see something where there's some technical difficulties, just bear with it. It gets better. Let me get through here. Oh man, sorry.
One thing about the case that y'all should know is that there's a document, and I'll put it in the feed. It actually shows where John was exonerated, and so I think that's important just to show all the viewers and stuff, because you can't see the TVs or know what's going on. But I'll post it in the feed. But he was exonerated, and then that's why he was getting the kids back. And they gave notice. The judge gave him almost 2 months from the time that document was made in December of 2020. And he was supposed to get his kids first week in February of 2021. Unsupervised. He had been cleared and exonerated already. They knew for 2 months that this was coming up.
Yep.
They wanted to act in court like they didn't know. They absolutely know, and I'll show you the document that proves it.
But what did they do that we've all been through? In February, what did they do to try and block it? They went and tried to file another false claim.
Right. Yeah, so they tried to meet it up last minute, right?
Yeah.
So last minute.
Alleged false claim.
Another.
But they definitely tried to file a claim.
Yeah. And
you guys get it.
Yeah, it didn't work. And look what happened, right? So
Antonio Maskey, he said, "We appreciate all 3 of you guys. I pray and hope the Mast family get justice and don't stop being a good, genuine family. In the memory of John, he is watching over you all." I believe that, man. I really do believe that. Wanda Best said they said it themselves. It had always worked for them in the past. They did say that, guys.
They did, yeah.
They did say that.
Yeah.
Plus, they have to keep their narrative going. If they don't, look what it will cost them. Absolutely, man. Advocacy account. I hope we see justice for John and my son's friend, Tristan. What happened to Tristan? I would like to know. There you go. We don't want to go too long about it, but let's give him a little insight on it. Gerald DeFresney said, "My ex has brainwashed my daughter. How do you combat that?" When I said we were going to do a John Mast tribute tonight, we're wanting to hear comments, friends and family and people that's got memories of him. But I can guarantee you, if John Mast was watching right now, or if he was sitting right here, he will want to make sure that we're still doing advocacy and answering questions like this. So I want to do that in memory of John. My ex has brainwashed my daughter. How do you combat that? I'll let you fellas take it.
yes,
We're not attorneys. We're not giving you legal advice.
yeah,
we're friends.
First. So I went through the same thing, alienation. Now, the only way alienation can stick is if you go long periods of time without seeing your son or daughter or your daughter. Now, go to the school, try seeing her now that school's operating. If you're not banned from the school, you can actually volunteer at the school, in the library, whatever else. And then you get to know her friends. Once her friends like you, she likes you, all that other stuff. Now, if she's just coming to your house for visits, the way to combat it is do not say a thing about what's going on, because your ex is making you out to be a boogeyman. So when she comes over, just act normal, do the same thing. She's going to be kind of combative, whatever. Don't feed into it. Do your normal routines, whether it's cook with her or go to the park or whatever. Now, if it's for the first time or first couple of times and she's being alienated, the best way to do it, besides not talking about it, is take her to places that you've been that you've already made memories at. So if you take her to the zoo, her own memories will flood her, those alienation memories, and it will rewrite over them. She'll be flooded with her own thoughts and her own memories, and that will combat it.
And this is not legal advice, but yeah, you have to start out with the 50-50 legal. A lot of people confuse legal custody with physical custody. And so even though your physical custody might be blocked, if you have 50-50 legal, you can take them to church, you can go to their church, you can go to their schools, you can go to their activities. So that keeps you from being obstructed, because the longer they're away from you, the more that bond gets broken. And you want to keep that bond, tight. So make sure you have 50-50 legal in your paperwork, and don't get, the separation. Second thing is keep them away from the bad LMFTs, MFTs, everybody that's pushing the agenda that you're a scary person. There are not too many good therapists out there. There are not too many good shrinks, psychiatrists,
Experts.
I just call them fake experts. That person will actually do more damage when the court says, oh, your child has to go in and get this therapy because they're dysregulated, or when they hear your name, they get scared. You have to fight back against that false narrative. And if there's a bad therapist in your child's life, get rid of them. As much as you can, remove them, and get knowledgeable people into your children's life, whether it is through the schools or the churches or sports or activities or friends or family. The minute you see that bad seed in there cooperating with the other side, it's called pathogenic parenting. You've got to immediately step in and do something, if you have the power to do it. If you don't have 50-50 legal, you got to get back into court if you can, and get control of that to protect your kid, because they're not themselves, and they're just trying to protect themselves against someone who's claiming to love them.
Well, he's saying that they're brainwashed already. So one more thing that I thought of is, if you can surround yourself while you have custody of your child with your friends, your family, when they see everyone respecting you,
Yep.
they will take that lead and they will respect you too. There's nothing that you can possibly say to that child that will combat that brainwashing. In fact, if you try it, it's going to make it stick even worse. Don't do it. Put more people around you that show that child how to act towards you, that love you, that uplift you, like, oh my gosh, your dad's cooking is amazing. He's so smart. He's this, he's that. That will retrain your child, especially if they're people that the child likes and respects.
There's a tagline that I made with Dad Talk early on. Stay cool, stay dead.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell you. Stay cool. Don't let the gaslighting get you. Don't lose it. And you got to stay dad. A lot of times when people, dads, start going through alienation, they stop doing the things that they do because they're afraid of losing favor with their kids. Your kids need you. There's a reason there's a fatherless crisis right now. It's because fathers give that guidance. They give that, that path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know how to guide their children. And a lot of guys are like, oh, if I do this, though, she's not going to like me because I'm doing this. Or, dude, you can't worry about that. Stay cool, stay dad. Kids know that their parents love them. They need that discipline. They need that structure. And a lot of guys stop being dad when they go through this because they're afraid of what it's going to do. Don't do that, man.
Sure.
Make sure you document everything, and just realize that's not something, there's no answer anybody sitting here or anybody in the world can give you right now that's going to make that go away overnight.
And if you're
It's a
afraid
process.
and if you're afraid of false allegations, go to Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart, get you wireless video recorders that record motion and set them to record when you have your child. That way everything's documented in case there is a false allegation. That will stop a lot of the game playing too if your ex finds out you have recorders in the home. But not in the bedroom, not in the bathroom, only in common rooms, stuff like that. Just
right. Exactly.
There you go.
You got to
Use your head, guys.
drips of love.
Mr. Steve Sues on YouTube said someone mentioned some surprise bombshell testimony today. So then that was me, and I stand by that. We heard the defense argue about that a little bit in his closing arguments. Take it which way you want. I'm going to give you my opinion on it right now. So for the past week, gentlemen, we've been watching as they've been saying that this was a thing of passion, that he found out that John was going to get the kids and that he just lost it. He didn't plan this, right? And yesterday, the prosecution wasn't doing much. And I'm not going to lie to you. You guys know, we talked last night. I was steaming. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Are they throwing away the case? I was a little hot because I couldn't understand why they weren't pressing a little bit harder. Everybody was like, well, they might have something going. I'm like, really? I'd like to see it. Today it came out and it made sense. Detective Crane got on the stand today. He talked about texts that he saw from the night before of the family talking with each other saying John's going to get the kids tomorrow at 6, which would say the people that said they didn't know until, a couple hours before, it doesn't go with that. And that was said under oath. Now, in the defense's argument, is he was saying they thought he was going to be getting supervised visitation because that's what he had been getting. They knew John, all right, this is February. John had been exonerated since the following April. Okay. It's February of next year. It's just a couple of months away from being a year after he was exonerated and was supposed to get the kids. So take that how you will, but I believe that was huge. And it made sense why they just sat back and let the talking go on yesterday. So
and the police video we saw today, and you can go back and look
watch,
at that.
Yeah.
And Jim himself talks about shooting him, and you can see how calm and collected he is, and his remarks. So you have to go watch it. But that's why they were being so calm and collected and cool. The prosecutors was because he hung himself.
Well, they couldn't hear some of that because they didn't hook the mic up to the video.
Yeah.
So some people couldn't hear it.
When I get the edited version of this down, I'm planning on trying to save the audio and restore it as good as I can. And those videos you weren't able to see, I'm going to get those added in there.
That'll help.
But there was some pretty damning video of Jim in there after he shot John saying, I've thought about this hundreds of times.
He used the word premeditated.
I shot him. I shot him 3 times. He should have dropped like a bad habit.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not
he
a
said
lick
this
of remorse.
after he was sitting in the cop car and gloating about it, in my opinion.
Here's what I said something on my personal Facebook a while ago because I got really thinking hard about this, though. They said it was, something that just happened out of passion, right? It's just something that happened out of passion. It came out of the middle of nowhere. Then why are you wanting to bring up the allegations against John so much to justify what you did? And if it was a piece of passion, I see no remorse. It looks like you want to justify it, not say I made a mistake. It was out of passion.
Yeah.
It's my thoughts. Mr. Todd Ashley. He said the defense was able to bring up the fear of John over and over. Why was the prosecution not allowed to bring up the fear was fabricated?
Because
the scope. So they limited the scope that they could do because it wasn't about John. John's not there to defend himself, so they kind of they kept alluding to it. If you think about it, because they never said what he did or anything, they just keep alluding to it.
Yeah,
that's wise because they limited the scope because it wasn't about John. It was about Jim. And if it was premeditated or not premeditated. That document that I have that I will post will show you it was all premeditated. They knew 2 months prior when that document came out, and they knew when the judge had said it 5 or 6 months before that, when John was going to get the kids, what day, and it was going to be unsupervised. Because they limited the scope, that's why, they kept alluding to stuff. But that's why the prosecution didn't press on, like, even this document and whatever else, because the scope is limited. But you can see it.
the defense wanted to make it about John, and the prosecution kept saying, this is about Jim. This is a murder trial. This is not a family court trial.
Yeah, John had already proved himself innocent. John's not here. I mean, so the fact, none of that should be brought up at all.
Right.
It shouldn't be. That's not what we're here for. You killed somebody.
Criminal trial.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't bring it up, was because he already had cleared his name. He was exonerated. There was no need to bring any of that stuff in. But because they knew this, they kept alluding like he's some kind of whatever. And that's why
that was the reasoning.
That was them trying to get Jim out of trouble for doing it, or causing a reason. But with that document, I'm going to show you. It shows it was all premeditated. They knew months before he was going to get visitation and unsupervised.
Vandal here on YouTube said, I missed most of the day on trial. Did Jim take the stand? Jim took the stand yesterday. So if you missed that, that's on YouTube as well. But yes, he did. So did Becky, and so did Robin, Jim's wife, and Becky's mom. Ronald, maybe specify this a little bit more for me. Are you talking about the dad, or are you talking about where John lived? I'll just go. I think you're talking about John, so I'll answer that. To my knowledge, John lived right down the road from Becky. Like, not even a mile, I don't
Quarter
think.
mile, half a mile.
So the fact that he's going to run off, or we don't know where he's going with the kids.
That was another lie. Becky got on the stand and said she didn't know where he lived, and he was a mile away.
They're trying to play with what they were what the scope was limited to, and they're trying to backpedal and try to make a narrative that was never a narrative.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love this. We got a comment in here from Heather Renee. Thank you so much. She said, John was a great man. He was so incredibly selfless. I was going through a terribly hard time in my own life, and John always made sure to check on me and make sure I was okay. Even though he was going through hell himself, he helped me move out of my ex's house and rented me a U-Haul out of his own pocket to help me, no questions asked. Listen to that, guys. This was a guy of character. And I can back up what Heather is saying all day long. And I understand this. So I'm not, saying anything about people that do it. But all day long, we get messages, tell my story. Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? John was going through hell, like Heather said. But when he would reach out to me, it was always to check on me or to try to encourage me. That was pretty amazing, dude. So thank you so much for that, Heather. That was a great story.
Where do you want it?
Right there in front of you. That way you can look at the other half and you.
FPS on YouTube said, did the defense bring up a little bit about the false allegations in his closing statement to the jury? Not directly, but I thought I heard him refer to a bit about the allegation against John. There was a lot. You could tell they wanted to go there. I mean, even at one point when Jim was on the stand yesterday and they objected a couple of times and he was like, come on, can I defend myself? And that's when we had to go on that break.
Yep.
And that was Judge Monson. And he was like, this ain't flying.
Yeah. Stop.
But he didn't actually refer to the allegations, but they did keep saying, like, the kids were scared, And then that's got to make somebody think, well, why would the kids be scared? And if you're not really well-versed in parental alienation and you haven't been through this, that's a tactic, man.
And they were just trying to cause doubt in any of the jurors for that exact reason. That's why they kept making it go someplace else, because Jim, his own video of him in the back of that car was damning to him.
Yeah.
Love this comment right here. Jim Carlson, Robert Mast is the greatest man I have ever had the privilege of meeting. Yes. It's easy to see why John was such a great guy, still is for that matter. A father's influence matters. Man, Robert Mast is one of the greatest men I've ever met. And man of faith. Let me tell you, there's a lot of people that go around preaching and talking different stuff about religion, and it's more talk, not walk. They live it, man. They live what they preach. Very forgiving, very loving people. And John had a great family. And look at it. The whole right side of that courtroom is packed out with the family. We're all standing with John.
That's telling as well. There's like
absolutely.
On either side.
Yeah.
And friends that came a long way. Ronald, why doesn't Crime TV cover it? I'm sure, like, once this starts getting numbers, people will. But pay attention to that. People need to be on these cases before it becomes popular. Right? So, but, You don't need Crime TV covering it. You got Dad Talk
There
today.
you are, Crime TV. That's right. It's called Dad Talk Today.
Yep. Yes, I just got a comment from Mr. Kevin Hickey. He said, yes, he moved to Lewiston so he could be close to kids. Yes, John was living in North Dakota, guys, when the family court battle went down. And Becky brought the kids to Lewiston. So he moved all the way over here. He was right down, like I think it was like a mile away.
He wasn't going anywhere.
You should probably touch on that. She didn't legally bring them here.
Nope. We'll wait on that.
Okay.
Allegedly. I'm trying to get through this, man. The comments just keep.
Yeah.
Jason Shinskin. He said, what's your take of the trial? Hard. This is my first, and God, man, I hope there's not many more, but we know what's coming. This was hard, and I'm not even a family member, but
well, what they didn't see that we got to see is
the emotions, the faces.
Pictures of John.
There was some,
yeah.
You know, I know somebody had said something about the evidence being on video. We were just showing what the courtroom was doing. It was rough. I still remember. Like, hopefully the family will be okay with me saying this, and I think they would. I don't know if you remember this, Robert, but one of the first things I noticed when I saw John in the casket is I looked down at his hands and I saw oil and everything. It was working hands. You could see John was making ammo at that point in time. It was one of his extra jobs. He had like 3 jobs at that time. I think he was also driving Uber. But you could just see, just by looking down at his hands, how hard working of a guy this was, man. It's crazy.
And every penny went to the defense of getting his kids back.
Yeah,
it did. And
it's just to be in his kid's life.
But it's the the hardest part of this is the silver bullet. We wouldn't be going through a lot of what we're going through right now without the silver bullet. That's just case closed.
Y'all. Yep. Not even half. Probably most of y'all.
Probably everybody
are where you're at because of a silver bullet.
Yeah, everybody in here. It's the club we don't want to be a part of.
Yep. So, and that's the part that makes us unsure. I just got to be honest with you on that, Jason. But so far, I think prosecution's done an amazing job. And
the police were amazing.
Police were amazing. Court.
Yep.
Yep.
Very professional, super nice, very accommodating.
Yep.
Props to Lewiston.
I'll even say I don't care for what he's saying, and a lot of that. The defense was even nice too. Said hey to us, and he commented on your suit today.
Yep. Sheriff Leavitt, Sheriff Gump, they've all been very accommodating. Judge Monson.
Jordan and Redinger said, when they are done and have reached a verdict, I'm sorry, I think I missed it. Can you guys be in there for the final decision or no? Absolutely. We're going to be there. You're going to be there too. You're going to be there like you are right now. That's the plan.
So if you'll follow, put, I guess, the bell or whatever it is to follow Dad Talk Today, because when he goes live tomorrow for that verdict, it will notify you. So what do they do on here? Like or share?
So I've already got the link up. I'm doing it just to YouTube right now because the internet and technical problems have been going crazy, and there's nothing we can do about that, guys. It's live video. We can adjust and do the best we can. So I only got it going to one. I had it going on several different platforms in the beginning, but there is already a link up, and you can subscribe, ding the bell so you get notified when it goes live. It's John Mast Murder Trial Day 4, and I do believe, and we thought this today, so I'm not going to say for sure, but I do believe it'll be the final day, and you'll see the verdict tomorrow.
Usually it's on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll say notify me. You
Yep.
just click it. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and then it'll ask you, do you want to be notified?
Do me a favor, man. Like, share that link with everybody you can, and let's have the movement show up and show out for John, dude.
Yeah.
Okay? That'd be amazing. I appreciate everybody for their support and showing up so far.
Get everybody watching it and celebrate tomorrow with it.
Mike Simmons, was the defense attorney wearing a wireless mic? Nope. He just won't stand close to the mic.
He walked away from the mic so many times on purpose.
I don't know about on purpose, but he did walk away from
Allegedly.
the mic.
Allegedly on purpose.
You guys. Steve Sues, does the jury know about that document? I don't know what document you're talking about, but if you're talking about the document that Robert's got, no, because none of that was allowed in.
The scope is limited
Yep.
to just Jim. It had nothing to do with John, but this
court.
document could have done it. But the scope's limited. So when they do that, and if you've never been to trial, that's why it couldn't have been entered, because it wasn't about John or his exoneration, because he was already exonerated. He was innocent. It was about Jim and his motives to John.
And his actions.
BB Scott said, why don't you give the highlights of today? I don't know if you've been paying attention to, but I've been going live all day long. Every couple of minutes, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. I'm trying not to do it, with the updates, but I understand some people might not have saw it. So today started out with the last few witnesses. I think there was only supposed to be one witness left, and it was who was it? I know Crane came up, and what surprised me was to see Becky and Robin get back on the stand today. Yeah. I didn't know that they was going to be called back up. There was one other person. I think it was a lady, wasn't it?
I think she was a CPS.
She was CPS?
Yes.
Okay. That was when I was having technical difficulties, so I was in the back and I didn't get to listen as much. But I gave you a little bit of an update on, what had been said through the week and then what we found out today. But after that, judge gave the jury instructions. They did their closing arguments. I think the prosecution did a really good argument. They showed the video of Jim saying, I thought about this hundreds of times. Shot him 3 times. I thought he would drop like a bad habit. It just,
wife and Rebecca
text
and
the wife.
It said it's done.
Yeah. So. So all of that went down. Defense came back on.
And
made the argument again.
Used his own words. I'm the fix-it guy. The prosecution started off with that. I'm the fix-it guy.
Okay, good.
Okay. Sorry, a little distraction out on the street.
Yeah. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the prosecution started off his closing with, he said it himself out of his own mouth, I'm the fix-it guy.
Yeah.
And you can go back and look at that. When Jim was on the stand, you can see him just change. Like, he's very proud of being the fix-it guy. He can fix anything.
Yep.
The defense made the argument that it was still, passion, in that the text messages didn't show anything like the state was saying it was, because they thought it was supervised visitation, not that he was going to get the kids alone. It was 30 minutes of, are you kidding me? Yeah. I don't know, the 30 minutes. It felt like 30 minutes. Yeah. It went on for a long time. One of the jurors started nodding off. It's
man,
but that was what it is.
Long. Yeah, don't say that.
Yeah. But it's what it looked like. But other than that, I think, like I said, I think it went really well, man.
What Leanne said, the testimony is
incredible. Yeah, their testimony wasn't remotely credible even before the text messages were revealed. My opinion, I agree.
Why would you text someone it's done right after you
and you were just going to talk, right?
Really?
They stated
it's done.
I was just going to talk.
Brian Morrison said, even though this is horrible, I hope some good comes from this case across America. I agree, dude. I mean, I think this case should be mainstream, honestly, and it might pick up if it just keeps getting the attention. But the fact that we're hearing about politics, that's about all you hear about nowadays is politics. That's what's going to overrule.
You've already been notified by other big cases.
Yeah,
I think it'll definitely change stuff. When this is done, just because it brings awareness, and the more that you share his story, the more awareness it brings, and that it also shows your friend, if you're going through this, how the silver bullet can start, where it can end, on
how to recognize it, and not end up.
And if someone's thinking about it, they should watch this too, because even someone making that false allegation, to show them that where the consequences could go just by making one allegation.
I agree. Gerald said, I believe you guys by getting in there filming is making a difference. I do too. Making a big difference.
That's why we're doing
one thing to be able to do something in a closed courtroom, another thing to know
Sunshine
people are
is
watching.
the best disinfectant.
Damn right. Joshua Stafford, God bless y'all for what y'all are doing. Thank you. Alienated Grandma, they're on YouTube, said, being still with you all this evening, here to show support, out of words at the moment, sitting here listening and reading all the love and support. Thank you, Grandma. We need to get more grandmas in here.
And grandpas.
Walk This Way Media is saying thank you guys. That's Mr. David Walt. Tell him thank you again. Do me a favor.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. Tell him thank
That's
you
our
again.
man.
You know, that's the other part with alienation. It's not just the dad or the mom that's alienated. You're alienating everyone in the family, the grandmother, the uncles, the aunts, the cousins, the nephews. All that family is being alienated also.
From one false allegation. No more Christmases, no more Easters, no more birthdays.
It's Deborah. You shared his murder, Eric. He is dad who was murdered in front of his daughter. If you recall, his daughter asked for a bandage to fix her daddy, remember? Now, Eric. You know, I get embarrassed sometimes, and it's not on purpose. Sometimes these cases come up, and you know, after seeing some of this, it just gets blurry. I mean, there's so much that we've done. I do believe if you're talking about the one, I don't know about the bandage, but there was a case where a custody exchange happened similar to John, and the dad got shot, and I believe it was a son, came and put his hand up on his dad's neck trying to stop the bleeding. And so I hope that's the case you're talking about, because if that's another one, that's just heartbreaking. Could you imagine the damage that kids are going to have from experiencing something like that?
Well, this is why we're all here, because all of our children,
they're going to have a lot to fix, because even with that, let's just say like the guy that was talking earlier, that the child was brainwashed. That child, even though didn't go through whatever, let's just say they brainwashed him and said that the dad hurt them. If they go through that, the child's still going to go through all that emotion thinking they were hurt mentally, even though it wasn't done physically. And they're still going to have to go through therapy and go through that whole range of emotions that this person that loved them or that they loved hurt them when they really didn't.
So I stand corrected. I'm sorry, I wasn't meaning to laugh during something so serious. But Kevin came on and said 47 minutes. I thought 30 minutes was stretching it, but yeah, 47 minutes. Wow.
I thought the judge was going to stop him at some point.
I don't think they could in the closing arguments. I mean, I guess he could, but at the same time, he was allowing him to make his case. I think it was fair to let him go. It was just like, really? Yeah. Really, dude? You guys can say a big thank you out there to Kevin, too. Kevin was one of the attorneys in John's case that helped him get exonerated there at the end. So thank you for giving me the time on that, Kevin. I thought it sounded like I was stretching it. Obviously, it wasn't stretched far enough.
Yeah. Wow. That was
47 minutes, bro.
I knew it was long, but man.
Yeah. So Steve said, so the sun set while y'all were streaming this evening. Yes, I was out here doing my best just to stay with you guys while we were waiting to find out what was going on. Everybody stayed on the stream, and I thought that was amazing. It wasn't because I wanted to just sit there and talk, man, but we're sitting here waiting with you guys.
Thank you for the support. The
Thank you.
Family, thanks for the support. We know you're going through it. We're going through it.
This is amazing. I hope I hope it helps some of you all knowing that what John went through, and if y'all are just starting, your process or whatever, that there are people out there that care, and come into the support group. And if those that y'all don't know about it, there's Dad Talk Today support group. We have a lot of advocates in there that can give you advice. We make videos in there on how to get your children unalienated, and your court process, stuff like that. And I've talked to several attorneys too, that if they don't know how to fight false allegations, a lot of these advocates have been there, done that, and they can give you their own court documents if you're pro se or whatever. So come in there and see what you avoid. What to avoid
the pitfalls.
I don't know if this is a family member. There's a lot of Mast, and they're not all family. but they all know each other for the most part. But Milford, Mast just got on here and said, I just jumped on. Are we waiting for a verdict tonight? Milford, it didn't happen. Yeah, it'd be tomorrow. Okay, we waited just about all afternoon, and it didn't happen, man. So tune back in tomorrow, and I'll do the same thing I did today.
9 a.m.
Yep. I've been trying to text you play by play, man. So as soon as we know.
Eastern?
Pacific. Yeah, 12 Eastern.
Russell Henninger said, when a verdict is reached, will you announce it on Facebook too? Yes, but I'm going to let it play live first. I would really rather have you guys there with me so we can all cheer together.
You will hear it when we hear it.
Yep. But I promise you, as soon as it happens, man.
And the biggest thing, too, is hope. Like, this all started. You started this out of hope, and hope goes a long way. Like, you have said yourself, I wish this was there for me when I was going through this.
Ted, thank you so much, man. I Skip Coffee. Dude, they were showing out last night. They started getting and donating more.
Ted in the group was,
and dude, it helps. It helps because we got a lot going into this. So thank you, man. I appreciate all the support that you guys do. The more support we get, the harder we can fight. But yes, this was what I wish I would have had.
Yeah.
When I was going through it, because John said something that really hit close to home with me when me and him was talking. He said, my family's been through there for me. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, my family's been there for me through everything. They showed up at all the trials and everything. He's like, they don't really know what it is I'm going through because they've never been through it. So I feel alone. He's like, I don't feel like anybody understands me. Dude, that was me. I was surrounded by my family. They was all there to help me, but none of them knew what it was I was going through. They had never been through that. And you feel like you can't relate to nobody, that you don't have anybody to talk to, and nobody understands. So this is why we started Dad Talk.
We understand.
Yeah. Look at us. Look at everybody in here talking that can relate to each other. That's what it's about, man. And I won't lie. I've been on a little kick here lately where I've had a hard time getting on because, dude, hearing these stories just tears a hole in my heart. But this thing ain't going nowhere, man. This thing ain't going nowhere. I was taking a little break because I knew what was going to be happening here. And I told you guys we were going to be going full steam this week. And I believe we have delivered. And we still got a lot more to go. When this trial is over, we're still standing with John. We got a lot more to do. And it's going to be a good bit of time before that happens. Before the next trial happens, it will be 3 years, guys. And it's hard once these stories get some time between them to get that story back out there. So that's why we've been posting nonstop. But I think for the most part, people remember this story, man, because it just hit so close to home for everybody.
And a system lacking justice to actually get justice gives people hope. Because you may not win, and we may not win, but if John wins, we all win.
Correct. And I'm going to tell everybody this because I don't think Eric's going to do this, but doing stuff like this is not cheap. There's tickets, there's Airbnbs, there's equipment that you have to buy, there's always like stuff that you forget and you have to go here, rebuy it, and it's very costly. So if you can donate back to Dad
There's
Talk,
one of them.
yeah, like seriously, you have
pick that up at Walmart.
I had no idea that this is so costly until Eric and I hit the road, and then it's like rental cars, gas, airplane tickets, and this is to cover not just John's story. This is all of your stories. That Eric and I went and hit the road and a couple other people for months at a time, and we still haven't stopped. Here it is 2 years later. Look where we're at. We're up in Idaho right now. So all this stuff costs money, and this is the only thing that Eric does, pretty much. So if you're behind this cause, you are helping this cause go further with your donations. So
and the likes and the shares.
Yep, and the likes and the shares. If you don't have anything, believe me, I know I was there too. I was broke at one time. I was like, man, I only got like $50 I can give you or whatever. I'm telling you, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff helps because then it opens up the algorithms to somebody else.
Can you like the feed right now?
Yeah.
Like it, share it, just that, man.
Just give
And the
us
more
10
you
little
comment,
dings right now.
the more you
Everybody
comment,
give us
man.
10 likes right
I don't ask for it because I would have been that guy that didn't have that, $5 to put in there. It's hard.
Yeah.
What we're
And
going through is
like
hard.
is free, though.
At the same time, though, guys,
So like
we
right
are
now,
fighting a giant.
hit like 5 times, everybody.
And I
Watch
see
it,
the like
watch all
counter
little
going
ding,
up.
ding,
Keep
ding,
it
ding,
going.
ding.
Please.
Yeah,
Please.
do it
There
like
you
5,
go.
10 times.
That's it. That's how you make change.
Exactly. And a
That's it.
podcast is one thing. Live streaming is way more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Way more
Yeah.
difficult. Way more technical. I mean, podcast has its glitches, but live streaming, man, we've been jumping through hoops. So, and we hear you guys when you say, "Is there thumping? Is there bad audio?"
We already know it.
We're
We
doing
already
our
know
best
it.
on the other end scramble, and you don't see it.
Well, so I would have loved to have had an audio guy. It's something we've never taken because we do it very little. But next time, I would love to have an audio guy that could take care of that, because when you're doing this and you're trying to oversee everything, man, we're all wearing tons of hats here, all right? And it's rough, but I think we've pulled it off pretty good. I think a lot of even the documentary, that was crazy for us to think we could do that documentary, and we did it.
Did you tell them what it was shot on?
It was
We're
shot
using
on all kinds of
professional
different
equipment.
stuff.
Yeah, we're using professional equipment now. I stand with John. Was shot on
$15,000
on your
and then
iPhone.
5,000 of that was advertisement. 5,000, another 5,000 of it was the travel.
Yeah.
So you're looking at about $5,000 that went into the production of that, guys, and that was getting memory cards and all that other stuff. So it was pretty crazy for us to pull that off. But you're talking about 3 months that we spent in the editing chair, not doing anything else. 3 months straight.
8 to 10 hours
to put your
not more
life
a day.
and to put your life on hold for that, and then we didn't charge for the documentary.
Yep.
All we ask is that you watch it and hit the like button.
That's it, guys.
That's all we're asking.
That's it.
Just come join the community.
Let me get. Trying to find your questions is really hard to. Alienated Grandma said the violence doesn't stop at the targeted parent. I was assaulted in March by ex-daughter-in-law while trying to protect my grandbabies and son. Triggered me into going into a heart attack. Almost died.
Wow.
Oh man, I think that is very common.
Yep. Sadly, it is.
Awesome. And Brandy has been a very big support and behind the John Mast Foundation and everything that's going on. She said, I'm a mother and I get wonderful information from Dad Talk. Thank you, guys. I love seeing you ladies in here. The ones that I don't like, I'm just going to be open and honest with you, is the ones that try to shut dads up. And they're like, oh, this isn't, there's no bias against these guys. You need to stop doing this. And it's like, oh my God, shut up.
So
but it's ladies like this that support, and I know she's been really good behind the foundation. So I'm glad to see you here, Brandy.
Yep. We met Moms for Liberty at a convention, and they were the same way. We do not want to remove dads, and we don't want to remove moms.
Yep. I think if you're starting to look at social media and even the mainstream media now, you'll see that the tide is starting to turn towards having fathers in your children's lives and both parents, in your children's lives, that both parents are important. So you're starting to see a change, and you're going to see even bigger one coming.
I'm just reading the comments. These are not my comments, but I just want to read this.
For sons, your dad is your biggest hero. And for daughters, your dad is your first love.
Milford Mast on YouTube said, I'm not family. However, I did meet John and Becky, spawn of Satan, at a conference years ago. So sad what has happened. If you see me smiling on here, it means I've probably caught a comment that,
He's scrolling.
Oh, Walk This Way Media, get some coffee in the morning. Anyone want a match? Oh, David, you don't have to do that, brother. I need to buy you a coffee, man.
Yeah, you already gave us.
Thanks,
you already gave
Thank
us a
you,
good
man.
Mexican food place to go to.
Oh yeah, Sinaloa.
And
hello.
And just so you know, guys, like even $10, $15, that stuff goes a long way. You have no idea, because we'll order stuff from Amazon and rather than Best Buy just to save $1, but it does go a long way.
FPS said, what do you make of the jury taking so long to deliberate? I know it's a person's life they're deciding on to defend it. Well, why do you think the jury wanted an extra night day to make a decision? It really wasn't. I mean, it seems long to us because you would want to see it just be open and shut really quick. But there was a lot of evidence to go through. There was a lot of details to go through. It was around 1:00, if I'm not mistaken, around 1:00 before the jury went into deliberation. So they had to eat lunch first, and they usually take like an hour to hour and a half lunch. So you're looking at 2 to 2:30 before they even got to start talking about it. And then by 5:00 got here, they got a lot of evidence to look at. So I wouldn't say now if it goes all the way through tomorrow and then we go to Monday, I might be saying, hey, why is it taking so long? But so far, I might have just wanted some more time because even after the verdict's read, I do believe we got to go through the sentencing too. So it's going to take a little bit of time.
Get that all done.
Yeah.
From 4 to 5 in 1 hour. So.
Yeah, we would like it done in 3 hours.
Oh, well, yeah, of course we would. Yeah. But I'm praying for the right verdict. Free Wrigley. Thank you so much. Donated $10. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think if they wouldn't have limited the scope, this is just me talking, that it would have been open and shut, done. Because with that one document would show that they knew, and it was 2 months ahead of time when John was going to get them. But it wasn't about John. This is what a lot of people don't get. It was about Jim Bashir. But if they would have just opened it up, we would have showed that one document showed he was exonerated. It would have showed that they knew 2 months ahead of time that he was going to have that visitation unsupervised starting February 5th, or I think it was February 5th.
Yeah.
And then their whole defense would have just been done. They were trying to cause doubt because they knew the scope was limited, so they hinted that John, was some kind of whatever, and they left it open-ended for that reason, was because they were trying to cause doubt. So I wish they wouldn't have limited the scope, but they did. But had they left it open, then I think everything would have been done, open and shut, done.
Sorry, I was checking to see how much battery life I got left. We're still good for a little bit. You get to hear us ramble a little bit more. Corey Nimmer said, I appreciate you guys covering this. I was falsely accused 6 years ago. The worst sexual allegations ever. Haven't seen my kids, and I know my ex would be capable of doing something like this to me. Pray for my babies. I lost my oldest to fentanyl. Oh, man. Lost my oldest to fentanyl this last December 6th, and even her passing, my ex has put on me. Prayers much appreciated. Be blessed, you guys. Corey, man, my heart's out to you guys. One thing I can say, we were all young. There ain't a single person that's ever been on Dad Talk, will ever be on Dad Talk, that is claiming to be a perfect person. We all have a past. I dabbled in stuff when I was younger. I smoked weed and some of that, experimented with stuff. We're not in that same world anymore. One thing I would like to talk to you guys about, make sure you're having that talk with your kids about what's on the streets these days. That one time they might think they're just doing what a lot of kids have done. I'm experimenting. That fentanyl is really dangerous stuff. I just had a friend that lost a kid to drugs about a month ago now. And I talk to him about every day. It's been really hard on him. But obviously, I know you're talking about the silver bullet and everything, guys, man. I'm so sorry to hear that, Corey, but I would not forgive myself if I didn't take that second to just make that announcement. Have that talk with your kids. And what age? Sometimes not soon enough, man. You never know. You might think, oh, my kid would never do that. The peer pressure and crap that's going on in the schools these days, they're putting that fentanyl on everything. Be careful with that, guys. And Corey, we'll be praying for you, man. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, sorry, Corey.
Man, could you imagine if that would have been around when he was younger? It's scary. Jason Shintgen said, all right, Jim, Mr. Trigger Man, looking at manslaughter charge, murder charge, not manslaughter.
First degree.
First degree is what we're looking for.
They want second degree manslaughter.
They want second degree. We're looking for first degree. But he said, what about the daughter's involvement?
To be tuned.
Yeah. To be tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay dad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. To be continued.
Tune up your dad.
To be continued. Sorry, we woke up super early this morning, and then I'm 2 out, and then went to bed way late, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, long hours.
Haley Dove said, can you post donation links? I hate talking about the money, guys. If you want to, there's the super chats and stuff on Facebook and YouTube. I've asked people. Well, it make me really feel good is johnmastfoundation.org. There's a place right there where the family's got a foundation going that could really help out. But all of your support is so much appreciated. Cash App, Venmo. Cash App and Venmo is Dad Talk Today. No spaces.
And we like the likes.
We like the likes too. We like the likes. We like the shares. And thank you guys for this. I have realized I'm going to have to start being more vocal about that because I can't carry the movement on my shoulders. I'm not that guy. I'm not. And we've got a lot of big things that we could do. And that's the one thing that holds me back.
Money does.
It's the only thing that holds us back is the money thing. And I hate asking for it because I see so many organizations fight over it, and it's just ridiculous. We are fighting a multi-billion-dollar industry, and you're worried about somebody getting 10 or 20 bucks here and there. We're going to need thousands, millions to fight this fight.
What organization do you see in the courtroom right now? You don't see them. Dad Talk Today is in the courtroom. We're talking to legislators. We're in the courthouses. We're in the state capitals. We are talking to your people that can change laws.
Yeah. I mean, if we had the money, we'd be in.
Oh my gosh,
we'd be in every state. I mean, we would be battling VAWA.
I would be getting new equipment, and now that I've got one court trial under my belt, maybe I can get into some more courtrooms. I've already been talking about some other pretty high-profile
we are your
custody exchange murders that want us to do the same thing. So we'll see what happens, guys. I think the cameras in the courtroom might be one of the biggest solutions that we can have right now. We've tried all that other stuff. I'm tired of all that other stuff. We got to try something new. Reggie said, what is your Cash App? Same. Dad Talk Today. No spaces. Thank you. Dora Miller, where can you watch the whole trial so far? If you go to John Mast Murder Trial on YouTube, Dad Talk Today. But if you put in John Mast Murder Trial, you'll probably find it a lot quicker.
And it'll be a couple of different ones.
Yeah, there's going to be several different ones.
3, stuff like that.
Dude, Jeremy Barganier, $100. Dude, you guys are showing out, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I got to do something special for that guy.
Yeah, I love that guy, Jeremy.
Advocacy, is the mom facing any charges for instigating John's murder? You guys have really given everything.
To be continued.
Yeah, well, I've said it, and I'll put it here, and then I'll leave it there. The wrongful death trial is scheduled for March of next year, if I'm not wrong. The Mast family has taken out a wrongful death lawsuit. Becky is one that's been named on that. And, at that point, I'll say to be continued. Jim's trial got pushed back like 4 or 5 times, guys. I can't tell you that this one ain't going to get pushed back, but it's 2.5 years later, and look, we're still here covering this one. It could be 10 years down the line. When that happens, you'll be the first to know. I promise you will. We will let you know, and we ain't going anywhere.
My bad.
Oh, he lost his phone. Y'all just gonna have to.
It's my wife.
Oh,
I'll be back.
Duty calls.
Thank you, Milford. You said you guys pulled that off pretty good. Going through your comments, a little hard. Ted Hertzel, we have been all at different levels financially. I totally understand how much it hurts to want to help, but you have minus $8 to spend that. So, dude, I get that one.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like when I was going through my divorce, I was working 65, 70 hours every week and still not making it. And, that was a pretty crappy life because I was a single dad with 2 girls, and dude, most of my time was spent working. And then, when I did get a day off on Saturday or Sunday, I was sleeping. I was sleeping. I was tired, or doing yard work or cleaning the house, or, something like that. And it really sucked because I couldn't be the, fun, loving father that used to let his girls paint his nails and do all that other stuff that daddies, do with his daughters. It sucks, man. I've been there. And, but you've got no excuse for not liking, sharing, and commenting. You're commenting right here. So that's the one I won't let you guys away with. But no, dude, I understand it all too well, brother. I really do. Um, awesome. Here's thinking outside the box advocacy. I am getting back to school in October, and I am paying out of pocket for a grant writing class to help you guys. Awesome. That's what we need. I will tell you this, and I'm telling you, do that. What you will find, I had a horrible time. I was trying to get grants myself for like the John Mast Foundation, because I know that the movement can't carry it on their backs. Every little bit helps, and we need it, but we're gonna need millions, dude. I mean, we really are. But I started looking into these grants, and there's tons that looks like it should be behind this, but they're all VAWA related, Violence Against Women's Act, and that's one of the biggest parts of the problem, unfortunately. So, but I think there could be some interesting ways. Yep. It's like, why can't we use these funds for fathers' rights?
Yep.
I'm just put that seed out there.
We've been asking for 1/10 of the VAWA money. Actually, 1/16.
And if anybody out there knows any grant writers that would love to even try their expertise and volunteer 1 or 2 applications or whatever, just let us know too.
Absolutely. Jeremy said, I really believe in what they are doing here. My son and Skylar watched the documentary last night again. Just so sad, but amazing to get the story out there. So you watched it with your kid. That's awesome. A lot of you guys that are saying like, I'm being brainwashed, I'm going through this or these allegations, like what can I do to help? Do what he just did.
Yep.
Watch that with your kids. Yep. Let them see another case that this is happening to, that is describing what's going on. We did everything we could to make sure we really dived in there to show the process. 1 month after filing for divorce, I'm hit with a false allegation of sexual molestation. It showed the timeline. So I Stand With John is very important. Yep. And I've got more of them coming, dude.
Yep.
And like you guys want to support, one of the things, go over to Substack. I haven't gotten to do much because I've been preparing this. But the Substack's where I'm wanting to put my documentaries out and do more stuff like this. dadtalktoday.substack.com. You can join for free if you don't have the money. But for those of you, $10 a month when those documentaries come out, you're going to be able to see it. It's going to be unlimited. And it's just a way of trying to create something to help get the funds back, so I don't feel like I'm just asking for donations, which I can tell you when they come in, we fight for you. But it's just another way of, like I said, making that content, because there's a lot that goes into making that content. But there's I Stand With John. Watch that with your kids, man. You never know the difference that can make. And there's a lot more documentaries coming, and we learned a lot since I Stand With John. I promise you, we learned a lot.
And great name, Skylar. That's my kid's name too, Jeremy.
Awesome, man. Jordan Ann said, hope you guys yourselves don't ever forget how amazing and badass you are.
We gotta do this.
I hope y'all screenshot it. Walk this way, Mr. David said the PA did ask Becky if she knew what the court order said, and said that it was going to have visitation 2 months prior to February 5th. Good call.
Yep.
Good call. I see a laughing face that just made the stream. Y'all like that, didn't you? AFS said, I think they should have let the jury hear all about John, meaning what he was accused of and how many times he had been exonerated. I think it would have helped obtain a guilty verdict. Who knows?
They couldn't.
Well, it could have, but they limited the scope, and that's what I'm saying, is that because it wasn't about John, it was about Jim, and so and it was whether it was premeditated, if he knew that John was going to have that visitation before or not, or if he thought about killing him before or not. So it was all about Jim, not John, and that's why it was a limited scope. But yes, I 100% too, because of that document, could have just opened and shut, done, but again, it was limited.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges.
And if you think about it, it's like all they had to say, the defense was, look, he was about to get unsupervised visitations done. But all they wanted to do in the defense is cause a little bit of doubt that there was a reason for it.
You only need one confused. Free Wrigley, yes, I can identify so hard with this comment. He said it's heartbreaking how misinformed people are. I was posting about this trial. I was met with multiple PMs in reply. John Mast from Mother stating the allegations. Reply John Mast in defense of his murder. Yes, yeah, because John's case was, so big.
We just had to defend it against.
And dude, I mean, this case is huge. When you talk about the silver bullet, how many documentaries and how many cases out there, like in media, do you see talking about the silver bullet? Johnny Depp, and his wasn't a custody exchange or family law thing, and there wasn't a murder involved, but it was one of the first times that we saw, false allegations popping up on the screen, especially to that big of a scale. But once you get hit with that silver bullet, it's almost impossible to prove your innocence.
Yep.
And there's just always going to be people that believe it, no matter what. And that's why it's so important what we're doing right now. When we say we stand with John, that was where that whole thing came from. That popped off my head as soon as I started thinking about doing that documentary. I stand with John, because I knew there was going to be people that tried to stand against him.
And they're still trying to smear his name right now.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want that document, you can go to Eric's page or Dad Talk Today or my personal page, and it's on my personal page, and you can share it. I put it public, so it's under Robert Garza.
So, and they said a state in Chomo. He was part of the PA Fathers' Rights cult. I directed them to the documentary. However, it's unfortunate how many believe fathers shouldn't have equal rights to their babies. This is why I say I don't put up with that crap when people tell me there's no bias or anything like that. They say that parental alienation is false, that fathers should not have those rights. I'm not backing down from that one bit whatsoever. I had never even heard of the expression chomo until the John Mast case. I've definitely seen it many times. And guys, you have no idea how bad my head wants to explode when I see comments like that. I mean, I've seen it. I can say for the majority of this, it's been nothing but positivity, people standing behind John. And when they see the case, they stand with John when they know the facts. When they only hear about the allegation, they react to that as well. And that's the importance of you liking, sharing, commenting, and making sure the story gets out there, because that could completely show somebody the other side of the story. You got to think, we're in the TikTok generation. People's attention spans are this big. So they get the little nugget that they think they've got, and then they'll base something completely off of that. They don't have that long attention span to go and do the research. And even journalism. You don't see people doing much journalism. This is real journalism right here. Let's go and find the real story.
We just corrected the news outlet 2 hours ago.
Dude, if I found out, and I want to say thank you to them, there was a news outlet that reported on the story, and I wrote them, and then we got the document over to them where John was exonerated, and they retracted it, and they added a statement to it. So little things like that do make a difference.
Yep.
And it's important that if we have media out there saying a mom made this allegation and it was false, it was unfounded, that's huge. We need more of that. But don't expect on the mainstream to do it. That's why we got to build this. We need to become the mainstream. Yep. All right.
I just thought about this. The court systems are actually starting the alienation by not giving equal shared parenting.
Yeah.
That's right, Ryan.
No fault divorce.
Yeah.
Even before green screen. Appreciate that, man. Dude, if you could see, I started Dad Talk Today in my kitchen with a blue microphone.
It's true.
Dude, you would have never known.
Like this little corner is it.
You would have never known it, because it was just, something that came out of the middle of nowhere. I never expected it to be doing what it's doing today. And I'd have to tell the family to go in their room, like, be real quiet, because my microphone would pick up everything. But, it came a long way. Came a very long way. I mean, in October, I go to England, guys. I got other countries wanting us to come over there and get the support going, and I want to go. And I will tell you, just like I said earlier, the only thing holding us back is the money. If I had the money, I would set this world on fire with it, dude. I would go across, I got to do it a little bit at a time, not like I used to do it, but
we have a good group. We could
absolutely
do some serious damage if we divided it up.
We sure could. Reggie sent a cash app. Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you,
I
Reggie.
appreciate it so much, man. Alienated Grandma, just learning about YouTube. How's your subscription for members at? I'm signing up tomorrow to support you all. I challenge you all to subscribe monthly. Thank you. That's a great challenge. I will tell you this. And I mean, subscribe on YouTube, get the notifications. Where a lot of the advocacy work is going to be is on that Substack. I'm just, between my wife going through surgery, all the other stuff we've been going through, I haven't been able to update it. Substack has what I need. If you sign up there, I have access to send you messages and keep you informed every step of the way. It's not me just hoping that you see it if I post it. You will see it. So that is a great place. And I also do a monthly meetup with the guys where you can come on video just like we are right now. It's not broadcasted or anything. And we just have a little chat, man. Just brother to brother. And I've let my hair down and said, hey, this is what I'm going through too with some of the guys. And it was nice. I got to talk to people that understand. They got to do the same. If any of you guys have been in those chats, let them know what that meant to you. So check out that Substack, dadtalktoday.substack.com.
I need to give 2 thanks for letting me steal your husbands.
Yeah, man. M. Buckman, will you be live streaming Becky Stroud? I don't know when Becky Stroud is going to be. If it's in this courtroom, wherever it's at, you can bet your ass I'll be filling out paperwork for it. Steve Hughes, y'all need to get some rest. It's been a long day and tomorrow starts early. We're used to it.
Yep. This is early.
Yeah. Imagine doing this, but then taking flights, driving 2 hours, waking up 2 hours to go to the airport and all kinds of stuff. So.
It's just like when all of us have been traveling and we're doing this in the car. I want you to understand something, guys. We're here to fight for you. So I'd rather be on here doing this with you than sitting in there on the couch. I left my family and all that because I'm here to fight for this movement and what I believe in. That we want to be doing this. So but I love the concern and everything about it. But, I just want to make sure that we can come on and do this with you guys. Because let me tell you something. John wants this movement to go forward.
Yep.
If you look at the last interview that I had with John, I asked him, I was like, are you doing any advocacy work with any of the organizations? And he's like, Eric, if I do anything for anybody, I do it for you. But he's like, I don't want to just forget what I've been through. I'm really wanting to get into the advocacy work, and I'm even thinking about running for office. That was some of John's last words. He was thinking about running for office.
Make change.
So, I mean, what we're doing here is definitely important, man. Let me...
And if anybody wants to get a hold of us, and if you're sending us private messages, more than likely we won't get them. We're on here live. If you have something to say, it's right. I mean, contact us this way. We're here. Ask your questions, stuff like that. A lot of people get frustrated, but we have there's 500,000 followers or something, and so we're just inundated. And so these lives are the best way to get a hold of us and talk to us and ask your questions.
I don't do them much anymore.
Well, and the support group. That's why we created the support group. Support group so you could have
You'll get in touch with somebody there way quicker, man.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get in there because if I'm doing stuff like this or even preparing for something like this, I don't have time to get in the messages. I had somebody that's reading them and trying to let me know when I need to know something, but it's what's one thing I will say about the movement, not to get into the nitty gritty. Sometimes where it does get me down is the people like, oh, they don't care. Or they're just doing this to get attention or doing this because I got my case and they won't pay attention to my case. I was like, dude,
we can't get to.
You know why nobody wants to do anything for your case? Listen at you. Yeah. All of these guys got lives. They got houses. They got families. They got things they got to take care of. He wants to drop everything to come and do that. What have you done for us?
We got our cases. We're still dealing with too.
How many likes did you give us?
That's not what I do it for. But at the same time, like, if you listen to yourself, you'll realize why. So be mindful. There's a lot of that goes on in the movement. I won't lie to you.
I have a ton of people in the support group. They'll tell you I will return probably like 10 to 20 calls a day from people. But I'm telling you, it eats up not my time, but I mean, if you can't spit your case out like within 10 minutes or something, I mean, but believe me, I've been on the phone for hours. You can ask a ton of people.
Yeah.
But
thank you, Janet.
There's only so many hours in a day and so many people that we can call and return your phone calls.
But let's touch on that for a while. I don't think people know how many cases we actually help out with in the background because we don't talk about it. But if you name a state, we have helped somebody for free. We're not attorneys, we're not getting paid for this, but we have walked people through step by step by step to help them fight this judicial corruption.
Yep.
So we're not here doing nothing. We're also helping people with their cases.
Ron, you hear it first. Write a book. I have. It's done. It'll be releasing any day now. Injustice for Dads: How Fathers Get Screwed in the Family Court System. That's the name of it. I love Metallica, so it's like Injustice for Dads. That will be coming out sometime soon. Just waiting on the edit and the print to get done, but it's 100% completed, brother. And I hope you guys will definitely pick that up. Looking. Okay. Jeremy, who's was it that had a son overdose on fentanyl? Corey, I want to give you a year subscription to the Substack. I think that would be helpful for you. Dude, that's awesome, brother.
Wow, pay it forward.
Dude, that's paying it forward right there, man.
Turning out like crazy.
Dude, man. I love it.
This is what this community is about.
That's it. You know, instead of
around
exactly.
This is exactly why we do this.
Instead of just like donating, like give a subscription to somebody like that so they get access to something that they can use and that doesn't have the money. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Thank you so much. And you know what? That is important. I want you to go back to the Sounds of Freedom. Do you know how many people got to see that movie because people were paying it forward and buying tickets for the people that didn't have the money to buy tickets? And look how huge it got. And it was about child trafficking. What the hell is family court? What do you call it? Making somebody buy back time with their own children that they should already have rights to. Could you imagine if we took a page out of that book, or we made a movie similar to Sounds of Freedom? Yep. Got these documentaries and stuff coming out. What you just did, Jeremy, was amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
That shows what a good man he is. The proof is in the pudding, man. Just do it.
Connie Franklin Hall, Missouri just passed SB 35, the equal shared parenting law. Hopefully changes are coming. There's been several shared parenting and other bills that are coming through. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, though. And this isn't crapping on any of them. That needs to happen. But you're going to have shared parenting. You're going to have consequences for false allegations. You've got to have so many things to actually come in there and clean up that system. Yep. There's not one legislation that's just going to do this. Florida just had something that I thought was amazing. Florida's on the right track. They still need to get the consequences for the false allegations in there, though. But they just passed something that said that as long as you establish paternity dads, you got rights. Without even having to go in the courts, you get rights. And they did that in conjunction with a shared parenting bill and ended permanent alimony. So,
go Florida.
Yeah, dude, if they could get consequences for false allegations, Florida might be set.
It's called perjury. If they were just,
or it's called time taken, time back.
There you go.
You got it in Texas.
There's definitely some steps being made, man.
To the other states.
Absolutely. And from what I hear, there was a presidential candidate. So I mean, like, not trying to get into the politics, but they was talking about Vivek Ramaswamy last night, talking about the federal incentives that are coming from this to get fathers out of the household.
Yep.
That's pretty big. Somebody on the main stage talking about that.
It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. You're going to hear a lot more about what you're going through.
Jordan said, do all three of you have kids? Yes. I
got 8
grandkids.
I got 8 kids.
I hope it's a long time before that.
My oldest one is 32, and my youngest one is 14.
Mine are right here. You see that?
Justice for John and his family. Yeah, man. So hopefully it's a long time before I become a granddad, but I might have to start a granddad talk today.
Do I get it? You get an AARP discount on that one?
I'm going to be a young grandpa, dude. I'm a first kid at 19.
I was a young grandpa.
How old was you when you had your first kid, Robert?
I got married in the 9th grade.
We actually have a grandpa.
In the 9th grade, y'all hear this?
And she was a senior.
We have a grandfather in the house.
That's it. Somebody said AARP sounds great. Russell, will it be on Kindle? I had to talk to the publisher about that, but that is not the only one, dude. I've got a series. My next one I'm wanting to do is to really dump in, like dive into the Title 4D and the incentives and how I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but just how it makes dads a slave to the system, man. That's what it's meant to do. If you're going through the family court system and you're paying the money and then they put you on alimony and then they put you on child support, you are living every day to pay this money to them. And how dare you try to stop it? You're not going to be able to. You're just going to keep putting more money through that court and you become a slave to the system. If you want your kids, you will pay. Kevin Hickey said it's sending you a letter to read. Absolutely. Do it, brother. Yeah. Jeremy said, thank you, but I remember those dark places and how alone I felt. I just want to help whatever I can for those people going through the same thing. It's awesome, dude.
Jeremy, I'm sorry you went through that, but you came out of it, and you're going to help a ton of people get through the same thing that you went through, and that's the beauty of it. You already know what they're feeling, and so come into the support group and help a lot of us out.
They sent you and me something, but I'll have to get it on your phone. They want me to read something real quick.
And you may not see us working on legislation, but we are working on it in the background. Robert just got taken time back in Texas, and now we're trying to make it
go ahead and send it. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I was just telling him go ahead and
just text me directly.
And if you're in California and not too familiar with SB 1055, they just made a law where you can't suspend driver's license anymore due to back child support. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is a big development. I got this straight from the Mast family. Great as a tribute. Williston Police Department, dear Robert and Sarah Mast. First off, I want to, and that's John's parents. Okay, this is June 1st, 2021. First off, I want to start this letter by sending my deepest condolences for the loss of your son. There is no greater pain than losing a child. Secondly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Daniel Hendricks. I am a detective for the Williston Police Department. I was the primary detective on all cases and circumstances you mentioned in your letter. I want you to know that anytime there is a report of suspected child abuse and neglect, it is the utmost priority to ensure the safety of the children. I know firsthand, as I worked the cases with John, there was no sufficient evidence to establish that your son had done anything wrong or committed any crimes. Can you guys hear that? John was beyond cooperative with all the criminal investigations and even went as far as consenting to do a polygraph, which he passed. My criminal cases with John were closed years ago. No charges filed. As far as CPS, I am unable to give answers for things their departments do. You are in our thoughts and prayers. If you need anything else, please feel free to reach out. Respectfully, Daniel Hendricks. That was the detective, guys, saying no.
I think I'll post that online too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you can share it. But see, this is why it's important, sorry, that train's loud.
To get the facts out.
Yeah, to get the facts out. But the scope was limited, and that's the whole reason that we couldn't, I'll post it in the comments or something here in a minute.
Thank you for sending that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And if you guys get anything else, please let me know.
But I'm telling you, if the trial was about John, then this would have been open and shut. But he wasn't here, so it wasn't about John. It was about Jim and if it was premeditated, not premeditated. So that's the whole reason with this. But we'll post both of these documents in this feed, and then you can see it for yourself.
They didn't say anything about posting. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll hold off. I mean, they might not mind, but I want to get permission. The Amish Kid on YouTube. I stand with John. Awesome. So hopefully this is okay. Is it Beachy, Schwarzentrooper, or that's about the only ones I remember? Have you guys ever looked into the Amish and all the different offsprings that's going on? It's crazy, man. But that Amish kid, that's awesome, dude. Thank you. Yeah. Wow, incredible. Yeah, dude, that was great to have that. That just goes to show you, here's the detective that was involved in those investigations and said there was no evidence there for that. Somebody said hobos in a train. Hey, you know, I'm gonna make like a comparison. This fight feels like David and Goliath sometimes. Feels very hard. There's days we want to give up and we don't know how we're gonna go. Even today, it was a little blow to say, "Oh, we got to wait until tomorrow." Jeez. But here it is. We're sitting here with 2 different cell phone lights beaming at us, so we can continue to go live to you. You hear this train? We continue to go live. His dad talk today is the little engine that could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know
Was that good?
How do you know that we're dads? When we hear a train, we think the Polar Express. If that doesn't tell you we're dads, I don't know what does. It's a delivery. Anybody order a delivery?
Yeah, it's delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
Hey, how's it going?
okay. They ordered some food. 1 second, guys. It's probably the last 4 of his phone number.
Oh, okay.
I would think.
Just go grab.
1 second.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
We're gonna be doing that here in a second. We're gonna need to be getting some Uber Eats. I'm hungry. I haven't ate. I've drank a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of coffee. Yeah.
And we have the AC back, which is good, so we're not sweating bullets in that court.
That was only that one day.
That was rough, though. I was not.
It was.
I was nodding off.
It was.
I was literally not. I think a lot of people were nodding off. And now that they got the AC fixed, we're all good to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jeremy said he's giving props out to Kevin and Robert. You guys are amazing in your own right. Thank you for your fight. Can't forget Pissed Off Parent and Jimmy Smith. You guys need to be checking them out.
Big show on Sundays.
The Big Show.
Wayne.
Have I told y'all Jimmy's story? Told you a little bit about it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting character.
Yep.
Of course, you know about finding out, his stepdad, and that his mom moved him when he was 3 to Germany, was never his dad in the first place. He found that out when he got older. He went looking for his dad. By the time he found him, he had just passed away. So he found his dad's family, and they said he just died, but there wasn't a day on earth he wasn't looking for you. Oh, dude, get some Zaxby's. Jeremy, there's no Zaxby's in Lewiston, but thank you so much, dude. I'm serious. As soon as I get off here, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
This guy.
Whatever's, there's not much to Uber here, but whatever it is, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. I promise you. But, yeah, man, after that happened, he was a wreck. And, but he's built like 6'7", freaking huge, dude. So
like me.
He starts working out, and he becomes like a Suncoast calendar guy. And they see that. Then he was in a boy band.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Y'all got to pick on Jimmy about that. He
admits it?
Oh yeah.
Put that in the comments on Sunday.
He was in
Ask
a boy
him to
band.
sing one of his songs.
Yeah. Yes.
Ask Big Show to sing Milli
or get some pictures of the Suncoast calendar thing.
Does he sing or does he lip sync?
But then he got recruited to be a Chippendale. And one of the Chippendales that was with him was Channing Tatum. And the story that you guys know is Magic Mike. So one of the characters is pretty closely related to Jimmy on the Magic Mike movie. And I will leave out the middle word, but it would be Big Richie. That's the Big Show. So make sure you guys are checking that out on Sunday. Listen to Jimmy so you don't have to listen to me. My daughter would say, "Let's go home and watch Barney and the Choo Choo Train." Yep.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the little engine that could, I think the phone has done a very good job, but I just got a warning. We are about to run out of battery.
We're all on empty.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be here at 9 a.m. showing you the verdict. So please tune in, like, subscribe, donate.
We'll be back first thing. Yep.
Thank you, Jeremy B.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you to everybody tonight, dude. And thank you for everybody that stuck around. Tomorrow we stand with John again. Don't go too far. We'll be back. And it might take a while to get a verdict, but I'm going to start that feed as soon as we can. Getting a lot of love there in the comments. See you guys. Love you. We're about to go eat.